In today's automation with Ansible tutorial series, we will be seeing how you can run some task conditionally. Means it will check for conditions, and if the condition meets, it will run, else it will not run. So before proceeding with that tutorial, let me welcome you to my YouTube channel, Trich Institute. And if you have subscribed to the channel, thanks for that. If you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe to it and also press the bell icon and select all notifications so that you get notification about upcoming videos. So let's move ahead with the tutorial. So in Ansible you can use conditions to execute some task or place when certain condition met. So what is that? Suppose you can put like if this meet with that particular value, then only it will run. So something like that kind of conditions you can put it in Ansible, and this also helps you to differentiate between managed hosts. So like suppose you want to deploy at the same time your DB server and your web server, and for DB server you may put like if RAM should be available RAM or total RAM size should be more than 4 GB, and for web server it should be more than 2 GB but less than 4 GB. So those kind of conditions you can put, and it can check for those conditions, and accordingly it can assign the role and deploy accordingly. Also you need to remember that these conditions get checked with playbook variables. So whatever variables you are assigning in your playbook, that you can go and have a check as per the conditions. Also registered variables you can take it, and also Ansible fact. So like in the previous example I was giving you, right, total memory size, so that you can get it from Ansible fact, and that you can put it in a condition to find out the proper host to deploy your DB server or your web server. And also one thing you need to remember in the conditions, or you can have like various comparisons like string comparison, then mathematical operations like equals to, not equals to, greater than, less than, those kind of things. And also you can have like booleans also, like if it is true, do it, if it is false, don't do it. Those kind of conditions also you can implement in Ansible. So how you can do that? You can do this conditional checks using when statement. So this when statement used to run a task conditionally. So it will go and check for the conditions, and it takes the value of the variable to check. So if you are putting a variable in when statement, it don't take the variable, but rather it takes the value of the variable and compare it with the conditions. And if the condition meet, then the task runs, else it just keep the task without reporting any error and all. So this is what when does. So you will see one example here. So you can see there is one variable called run my task. Now if you see in the example, we are putting when run my task. So that means it will check whether run my task value is true or false. So if it see it is a true, it will run. If it sees it is a false, it will not run, and it will skip. So in this example you can see run my task is set the value as true. And one more thing you need to remember, that when you are putting this when statement for conditions, it should be in the same indentation with your task. It is not inside your task, it is outside your task. So whatever task line you will take it to start your task, when also should get start from the similar vertical line. So you can see in the example, as the value is true, you can see that it is running the task. Now in the next example we will see the value is false. Run my task, that variable value is set to false. So you can see here it is not getting run and it is getting skipped. That skipping you can see in blue color. So it will not run the task. So like this you can use when to check for condition and accordingly run the task. Now that whatever you have seen, that is very simple example. You can have even values, and you can compare those values. So like in this example you can see there is a variable called my package. Now here when statement is checking this my package is defined or not. So that means if you have not define any package name in my package, your zipper module or task will not run and it will not install any package. But when you define, like in this example you can see I have defined httpd, that's the package name. So it will go ahead and take that package name and install it on your manage host. So like this also you can check for conditions. Now till now you are seeing some example where just when and I am putting the variable name, or when I am putting when and then I am putting like variable is defined. So how those values are coming or what is the meaning of those, that you can see from this table. So you can do like equal, so either it can be string or numeric. So for equal you have to use double equals to sign, and for string you have to put the string inside a double quote, and for number you can directly put the number. Similarly you can do less than, greater than, less than equals to, greater than equals to, not equals to, also you can do. Now one more thing, if you see in our previous example we were giving like variable is defined, so that you can see variable exists. So if you want to check whether any value is present for the variable, you can put variable is defined. So like here in this case min underscore memory is a variable is defined. So if it is have a value, then that task will run, else if it will not run. Now if you want to check if it is not defined, then you put is not defined. Similarly if you want to see if the value is 1, 2 or yes, then run, then you just put the variable name. And if you want to run the task, if the variable is set to 0, false or no, then you put not variable name. So it will then run if it is 0 or false or no. And there is one more option here, you can do like conditions, like if your variable value is present in second variable list, like in this example you can see my underscore special underscore user, that is a variable. If that variable value is present in the list of super user, so that we will see one example also in our upcoming slides. So just you can take a screenshot of this and you can keep it for your reference. Whenever you want to use conditions in your Ansible, you can use these operators to do the conditions check. Now one more thing we will see, till now we are seeing like we are checking one variable, like whether variable value is true or false, or whether variable is defined. That is like very simple. So you can create multiple conditions also, and you can make it a complex conditions. So suppose you want to check both the conditions should be positive or all the conditions should be met, then only it will run. So in that case you can use AND operations. So with AND operations, whatever conditions will put, it has to meet all those conditions, then only it can run the task. So you can see an example here, like Ansible underscore machine, this is a fact variable. If that value is x86 underscore 64 and minimum memory is more than 512 MB, then only it will run. So that means it has to meet both these conditions, then only it will run. Now if you want to meet either of the conditions, you use OR statement. So in OR statement, it will, if any of the condition meets, it will execute. Like if you can see here, like admin user equals to Jack or admin user equals to Elena. So if it is Jack, it will run, or it is Elena, it will run. Now if it is both Jack and Elena, then also it will run, but you need only any of the condition to meet. Now using this AND and OR, you can even create a complex condition and you can put it there. So only thing you need to remember, you need to separate those conditions using parentheses, so to ensure that they are correctly interpreted. So you can see in this example where I am giving a Ansible underscore distribution equals to Red Hat and Ansible underscore distribution underscore measure underscore version equals to 7. So these two are facts gathered during the setup module runs when you are running a playbook. So this is one condition. So your OS should be Red Hat and version should be 7, or your OS should be Fedora and version should be 23. So in this case you are combining AND OR. So either or your condition has to meet, like where one condition OS should be Red Hat and version should be 7. If that meets, it will run, or if it meets like Fedora and version is 23, then also it will run. But now think about, suppose it is a Red Hat but version is not 7, it is 6, it will not run. Or it is a Fedora but version is not 23, it will not run. So like this also you can make a complex condition and accordingly you can run your task. Now we will see combining loops and conditional tasks. So till now you are seeing conditions, right? And in our previous video, if you have seen, we have discussed about loops. So you can combine both loops and conditions also. So we'll see how you can combine your loops and conditions. So let's see. So when you are combining your loops and conditions, you need to use when statement, and also you need to go for loops. Now here one thing you need to remember, if you are combining when with items. So if you remember in my previous video I was discussing about this with items, where you put multiple values and it will go for loop. So in that case your when statement, that condition will get checked with each item within your with items. That you need to remember. It's not like only one time it will check that condition and it will run. Like suppose, let me give you an example. You have 10 servers and you put a when statement. If in those 10 servers, if your OS version OS is Red Hat, use the yum module to patch those servers, and if those are SUSE, use the zipper module to patch those servers. Now what it will do, it will take each one by one server and it will do this when statement check, and accordingly it will run the condition. It will not like for only one server it will do and come out, not like that, or one time it will do and then it will just blindly do. So you can combine like this when and with items, and you can do a loop combining with your conditional task. So here you will see one small example. So you can see I am defining one variable called users, where I am defining users like John, Jack, Clark and Bruce. Now what I am doing, I am creating a task to create users. Now here it is taking the item name. So then with items we are defining the users. So it will take one by one, like John, then Clark, Jack, then Clark, then Bruce. It will create and it will put them into the group called wheels group when user is defined. Now in this case, if you see users is defined, right? So it will create all those users. But if it is suppose user is not defined, it will not create any of these users. So like this you need to do. So now you can see here, as I have defined, if you see the example, that playbook runs and it creates the users like John, Jack, Clark and Bruce. Now if I don't do, it will not run the playbook, and it will just simply skip the task without giving any error. So like this you can easily combine conditions in your Ansible playbook, and even if you want, you can combine your conditions with your loops so that you can run the playbook conditionally in loop and make it more complex or achieve more complex task. So hope you have liked this video. Please like the video and share it with your friends, colleagues and family members, and also please subscribe to my channel if you have not done yet, and press the bell icon to get all the upcoming video notifications. So bye, have a good day. We will see you in our next video.